Okay, cool. So, hi and welcome to the next episode of The Promising Creative. Today I have the wonderful Ruby, aka Pose and Repeat, and we'd like to welcome him on the show.
Hi.
So,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, our relationship is that I manage Ruby, and I really wanted to get her down here today to get her story down and for people to listen to her journey, not only in creating content, but also coming from another country and moving to England, which can be daunting. So, just in your own words, I just want you to sort of just give us an overview of Ruby and where you come from and the journey to when you got to the UK.
Okay, sure. So I'm from the Maldives.
They always flatter.
Yeah. My parents are from the Maldives, so I grew up there, and then I moved to Australia when I was 5. So I did all my high school, uni, secondary school in Australia. So I would consider myself Australian, but I'm like originally from the Maldives.
Did you get, when you moved, was it a bit of a shock? Do you remember moving?
I remember moving, but I was really young. I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I don't remember like how I was feeling. Like I think it was just like you're a kid, so you just kind of go with everything that's happening. But I was like one of probably like 5 people of color in the school, in my primary school. So that was new to me, but I didn't think anything of it really, and I didn't really get treated differently, which is good because a lot of other people who I know as well have been bullied or like whatever else. But I was lucky, so it was fine. And then so I did all of my high school, uni in Australia.
Where in Australia?
In Melbourne.
Oh.
You didn't even go to Melbourne.
I know, but I wanted to go to Melbourne. I didn't. It's on my to-do list.
Okay. No, Melbourne's great, but I got bored of it. I got sick of it. I needed a change, and that's why I moved to London. But before I moved, I did study abroad in Nottingham. That was when I first came to the UK, and I was like, oh my God, I love it here. Like I love like London and being close to like Europe, traveling, all this kind of stuff. So I was like, one day I would love to like live in London or live in Europe. I actually wanted to live in Amsterdam or like somewhere like Barcelona, like somewhere in Europe, not London. I thought London was like kind of like overrated. Like I was like, everyone moved to London, and especially like Australians, they all moved to London. Like there's so many Australians in London. So I was like, I want to do something different. But then when it came down to it, the situation was just like the easiest for me to get one for the UK. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, I basically moved in 2019. So it was 6 months before COVID, which was fun. So I had a great 6 months living
What was you doing when
life
you came here?
to the fullest. I wanted to get a job. So basically when I was in Melbourne, I was working for my family business, my dad's company, and it was in like food export, logistical things and stuff. So it was just kind of like always my path to take over the family business. That's what my dad wanted me to do. That's what I thought I wanted as well, until I started working for the company. But I was there for like 6 or 7 years, and I kind of like progressed over the years of like to do different roles, and then I was like the general manager. So I was managing like a group of people, and it was a lot, and it was just like not my passion. I didn't love it. So that's why I felt like I needed to find the path that I wanted to go down. So then I told my dad, I was like, I need to like do my own thing, like, and stuff. And he understood. But
Was that a tough conversation?
Yeah, it was. At first I said that I'm going to go and study. So I was like temporarily like going to have like an escape plan. So I was like, I'm going to go study, like I'm going to get my master's, because I studied like business and commerce. So I was like, I'm going to go get my like MBA. And he's like, yeah, like go do it. Like anything educational. He's like, yeah, do it. So then I kind of started looking into that, and I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to study. Like I don't want to I don't want to study anymore. Like I studied for 4 years and that was enough. So, and then I was like, I'm just kind of avoiding the problem. I'm just like
kicking the can down the road, as they say.
Yeah, like I'm just using this as like a kind of like I'm trying to avoid the actual like issue, which is that I don't want to work at the company. It's like even if I go and study for like 2 years, I'm gonna have to come back and like face the issue. So I was like, let me just face the issue now, which is that I needed to take a different path than what my family wanted. So yeah, I told my dad, and then he was very shocked at first, but then he kind of like understood in the end, and he was like, it's your life, like you do whatever you want to do, like I just want you to be happy, which was great. So then I made plans to move to London, and I was like, I'm going to get a job in marketing. because I have a marketing degree. So I started looking for jobs in marketing, and it was tough, really tough. And then I ended up getting one, and I honestly like hated it. It was terrible. It was just not the environment or like what I pictured when I imagined myself working in a marketing agency. So I was there, and then we met.
Yes.
We were introduced.
Yeah, we were introduced.
We were introduced.
And
And
I remember the first time I met you. It was at an event we did, maybe.
yeah, it was. It was at a Notion event. But like before that, I guess we talked over the phone, and you were like, "Do you want management?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" I'd never had like proper management.
But the reason why you had management was because you'd launched your channel, right? You'd launched.
Yeah, so I skipped that whole bit.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
In my origin story.
Come back to that. Tell us about that. What
Yes.
happened and how you started doing what you do now.
Pose and repeat. Okay, yeah. So basically, I was working in my dad's business, right?
Yeah.
So then, kind of like 3-4 years in, I started to really need like a creative outlet because I didn't have that in my life, and I was like, I need something else. Like work is work, and like I need something that's gonna make me like creative and happy. So then I was like, I want to start a fashion blog because I was like, I like fashion. Like, you know, fashion's fun. Like it's fun space to be in. So I started a blog, poseandrepeat.com. And then I started an Instagram at the same time. And I started posting like my outfits and stuff. And it was fun. Like it was something that I would do after work, like on the weekends, like whenever I had time. And yeah, and then like a year later I launched my YouTube channel. And I just kind of like worked on it for like a couple of years. And I saw a bit of growth on my Instagram, like, you know, a few months, maybe like 6-7 months in. My YouTube channel, I literally was reading an old journal entry that I did, and I had written, like, I feel like I should just give up on YouTube. I'm still on 600 subscribers, and I've been doing this for like 2 years. So I totally forgot how long it takes to grow on YouTube. But literally, I probably had 600 subscribers for like 2 years. So yeah, but anyway, so that's how Post and Repeat started. I basically wanted to do something in fashion, started my social media pages. And then
This was in Australia still, yeah?
Yeah, this is in Australia. And right before I moved to London, I had like this big growth on my Instagram. Everything was like growing for some reason or another, which was great. And then I moved to London and it was still growing. It was good. Like the change in environment, the change in scenery, I think really helped as well. And being in like a new place for my photos. And then, yeah, so it was going well. And then that was when we got introduced. And then, yeah, you were like, do you want management? I was like, sure, let's try and see. And
I
now
think you were getting a rough time,
are.
weren't you, from brands, if I remember correctly, and they were like just...
Yeah, I feel like...
offering you nothing to do all the work.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well done,
I feel like I
brands.
was being taken advantage of for sure, because I didn't probably know what I was worth, and like I couldn't negotiate like proper deals, you know, like the way that you can still. But yeah, so that's pretty much the story.
Yeah, so then you come here, and I remember, so...
Yeah.
Then you were doing a job.
Yeah, so I was working at that job when we got introduced.
You got a couple of deals in, and I remember because the conversation was, if I get this in, then I can leave my job.
Yeah, no, I remember calling you and I was like, I think it was like one day that I had a really bad day at work and I was just like, I hate my job. Like, I want to leave. Like, I want to resign. Like, I was literally like, I'll go work at Nando's. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll go work anywhere other than this place. And then you were like, just wait a bit. Like, if we get these deals through, you could probably go full time with this, which was like a turning point. Like, it was like a huge deal, right? So, yeah. And then, yeah, those deals went through and then we resigned.
Then you handed your notice in. How was that? Like, because obviously, I was part of what was going on, but how did that make you feel internally? Because like...
It was very liberating. I was so happy that I could like do my own thing finally. I was like, oh my God, like I can like work for myself, right? But it was literally like Feb 2020 that I did that I handed in my resignation. And then March was COVID, as you remember. So it was a scary time because I was like, oh, I don't like, how am I going to work? Because I no longer have a job that's going to pay me. And then my job right now is so dependent on external factors, and COVID like just really threw a spanner in the works of like
stopped everything basically.
Pretty much, like where are the budgets like all gone? So yeah, but I mean,
how did you, so in that period, what did you do to keep yourself sane? Like, because obviously imagine your budget's gone, your money's gone, you're like, okay, I've got a bit of money, but I'm not earning anymore. I don't know when this thing's going to sort itself out. What did you do? How did you feel and how did you think?
Yeah. So
And
I
has
think
any of that, what happened? Is any of that, have you carried any of that preparation to look after yourself moving forward?
Yeah, so I think just obviously like around the time of COVID, everyone didn't know what was going on. Everyone was really stressed. I was stressed additionally by the fact that I had just resigned from a job and now I was working for myself. And then I was also like, should I stay in London? Should I go back to Australia for a bit? Like, I was trying to make all these decisions at once. And then in the end, I decided to go back to Australia for a few months. I didn't know like how long I was going back for, but I was like, not forever. It was like temporarily.
Yeah.
And then,
And you had a lot more freedom over there.
yeah, luckily. Oh,
Because I think they didn't have, in Australia, they did not have such an aggressive lockdown. I think they were like, they just stopped anyone from coming into the country.
yeah, no, they had an aggressive lockdown and they did that too.
Okay.
So I made it like just as they like closed borders, which was lucky. But yeah, it was okay. Like it wasn't that bad because I was still able to like create content in like inside my house, which is a lot of what I do anyway. Like it's like mirror, like photos and like videos inside and stuff. So I was still able to do that and I was able to actually like do it like 100%. It was just the fact that like I never knew, we all didn't know like when it was going to end. So like there was no end date to like when we would get freedom back or like when we would be able to like go outside again and like all that kind of stuff. So that was like really the only thing that was like concerning. But 2020 was like a great year for me in terms of growth of my channels, like post and repeat, everything. Like it was growing so much. It was like the biggest year of growth ever that I've ever experienced. And I don't know if it would have happened if it wasn't for COVID because, you know, everyone was inside. Everyone was like kind of like looking at on their phones all the time. They're on social media all the time because of what else was there to do. And then I had all this time to create so much content. So yeah, it kind of all happened the way that it was maybe supposed to.
And then you came back?
Yeah, so I came back in July of 2020. And yeah, I feel like it kind of like, I don't know, I don't really remember, but like, I feel like it kind of started to pick up a little bit work, like, because July we kind of opened up for a bit and it was okay. And I feel like from a work aspect, it was fine because I didn't feel too stressed out about it because I was like, my channels are growing, like, it's going to be fine. Like, whatever happens is okay. We were getting jobs here and there and then like, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
yeah,
you've come back. You then, I think it was at a point you decided, I think, at what point? So, obviously I know the story, so I'm just going to try and see if I can get it out of you. So,
yes.
you started more looking after your mental health, your physical well-being, and tell us a little bit more about how and why and what you did to help you look after yourself. So you understand, following getting back into the UK, and then you were like, right, I want to go to the gym, I want to do yoga. You started talking about all these things that you wanted to do, and you did them because you wanted to look after your mental health and your physical health. So what brought that on? You can skirt around it. But what brought that on? But what did you do to look after yourself?
Okay, so yeah, so I was basically in a relationship, doing long distance when I moved to London. And we carried on that relationship until the end of 2021? I don't remember. Anyway, it's irrelevant.
Some period.
Yeah. But that was not a good time for me mentally. I was not doing well mentally. Like, it was consuming all of my time thinking about that relationship and like all the negativity surrounding it, I guess. And then kind of towards the end of the year, I decided to end the relationship, and it was a really bad time. Like, it was probably a bad like 3 or 4 months, and we were married. So there was that. And so we ended the relationship, and he was in Australia and I was in London. So that was really hard because it was like we couldn't even be in the same place, like in the same country to have this big conversation. So it happened over like FaceTime. And then so I had a really rough, like, this was in 2021, so like March to like June, I was like rough, and I couldn't really even like work, I guess. Like, yeah. You knew what was happening, and then I was really grateful because you were like, just, you know, just take your time, like, it's fine, like, you don't need to work, like, we're fine. And because I had done so much work in like 2020, early 2021 as well, I think we were in a good place for me to like just take a break because I needed that mentally, to kind of like recover and like, process the relationship, process the breakup. So,
and what did you do to help you do that?
So I did a few things. I did kind of like a deep dive into unpacking the whole relationship and like figuring out what I could learn from it and what I could learn from the whole experience. And I also started, just like taking my like mental health and my physical health more seriously. So I started PT sessions. So I'd go to PT once a week, and that was honestly like one of the best things that I did, because I don't do PT anymore. I probably did it for like a year, but like it's created my routine, like my gym routine, and I feel comfortable in the gym now. I don't need someone there to like push me or like tell me what to do or anything. But I'm so glad I did that, because I needed that at the time, and it was so helpful for my mental health. And I just like spent more time with friends, put my like energy into my friendships, like doing fun stuff in London now that we could, like it was kind of like open after lockdown. But yeah, it was an interesting time.
And you started yoga as well, and how did you find that helped you? Was it the breathing? What was it, the stretching? Or because it's like when I've started doing yoga, I'm like, okay, wow, actually, like
it's life changing.
Yeah, because we're running so fast, and
yeah.
Like before, one of my old partners just said to me, "You've got to do yoga," and I'm like, "Oh, leave me out." And then I started doing it, and it really helped.
You understand now, yeah. So I've been doing yoga for a really long time. Like back when I was in Melbourne as well, I was doing it. But it was kind of like during lockdown that I did it like every day. Like it was just like consistently I would do it. And then after the breakup as well, like it helped me so much. It probably like changed my life in like so many like positive ways. But I don't know. I feel like it's not just like a workout. It's like a spiritual like practice. Like, you know, it helps you to, what you do in your like yoga practice, like you slow down, you like, you know, kind of like go internal. It helps you like in life as well, like in certain life situations to like be calm and like be, you know, zen in like stressful situations and stuff. And I've taken what I've learned from yoga and like yoga classes and like just applied it to my life as well, which is good. But yeah, yoga is like one of my loves. I love it. I think it's something that will always be part of my life.
It helps you keep you grounded.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've come out of it now. You're doing your training.
Yeah.
You're looking after your mental and physical health. Is that really the first time in your life that you did that?
Probably, yeah. Like properly. I feel like I've done it in the past before, but not like. I think like these kind of like big life transformative moments, or like just like these things that happen, like breakups or moving to another country or like whatever, like really big life changes that kind of it's like the catalyst for a lot of change.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think previously in my life I probably haven't like focused on it as much as I do, or like prioritized it as much as I do now. So yeah.
That's cool. Amazing. Thank you. I'm glad that we got there. So yoga is the key.
Yeah.
And breathing. And your friends?
My friends, yeah. And so I feel like basically last year I was focused really, or like the last couple of years I was really focused on post and repeat and like work and like getting jobs and like blah, blah, blah. And I kind of lost myself a bit in that. And I didn't prioritize things that I loved anymore. And I wasn't feeling really creative. I wasn't feeling like inspired for literally like the last year. And I realized it was because I wasn't doing things that I wanted to do, or like things that interest me, like just like that have interested me for a long time. So this year I made the plan or the goal to go back to those things or start those things. And one of those things is salsa dancing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I've always been interested in dance, but I couldn't like choose like what kind of dance I wanted to do. So this year I was like, you know what? Like I love like Latin culture, Latin music, whatever. So let's do salsa dancing. One of my other friends does it with me as well. So it's like, it'll be a fun thing for us to do together. So we do that every week now, and I love it. It's honestly like one of the best things that I decided to do, because I was like, I love dance. Like it's a good like workout. It's fun like with my friends, like social as well. It expands my social network, which is great. And then I'm learning French.
Fantastic.
Yep. So yeah, I just wanted to do things that were like hobbies, like new hobbies, you know, things that doesn't need to be like monetized basically, which is really important to have those things, because I think when you're in this industry, because you can kind of monetize like everything, like you can monetize if you're gonna start a new like hobby or whatever, you can like basically like vlog it and like make money from it, right? So I didn't want to do that. I was just like, it's just something for me, like for my like personal like enjoyment, and like for me to like spend my time in a way that is positive and makes me happy. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I didn't know about the French thing. So, what salsa? I don't know. You might have told me. I think Ange does salsa from.
Angie.
From Reward Style.
Does she?
Does salsa.
Oh my god, I should talk to her about it.
You should talk to her about
Yeah.
it. So you've made these changes, and you are still working, and now obviously you're probably enjoying your work more. Would you say because you've started to find a bit more balance?
Yes, 100%. And I think that was the issue before. It was just because I was so focused on it that I lost the love for it because I didn't have other things in my life that were, filling the cup and fulfilling my life. So yeah, now I think it's a lot better because I have other things to spend my time on, and it's not just work and work focus. And I also think that I found it really difficult because post and repeat was always on the side of my job. It was something that I did on the side of when I was working for my dad, let's say, right? So it was always the side of my full-time job. So it was almost the escape for me from the job or the daily life. But then it became my job, and I didn't quite make the transition of it being my job, and then I needed to have other things outside of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You didn't have an escape because your job became your escape became your job.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's
when did you realise that? Because that probably didn't happen straight away.
No, it didn't happen straight away. I think I realised it was only really probably the end of last year.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
So you basically dived head in.
Yeah, and then I didn't realise that it's not that it's an escape, but it's you need other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be human. And
yeah.
you're not just live working or
Exactly. There's other things to life.
And so now you're doing your new hobbies.
My new hobbies, yeah.
And you're saying that basically, I guess what you're trying to say is that, or what you are saying is that you need both and you need balance.
Yeah.
And is that what you aim and strive for now?
Yeah.
If you feel that something is tipping in one way or another, what do you do? Or how do you even notice that it's happening? How self-conscious can you be, I guess?
I think I'm quite self-aware about things, and I will take everything week by week. So my weeks are organized in a way that I look back on the week and then kind of review and analyze, okay, what did I do that week? So at the start of each week, probably on a Sunday night, let's say, I will do a things to achieve this week. So it's separated into different areas, right? So it's got my morning routine, which is journaling and meditating. So I put a little thing and then I tick it off if I do it, right? So journal, meditate every single day. Then physical health, I've got gym and then yoga. Gym 3 times, yoga 2 times, right? Then I've got all my events so I can see kind of what's happening. And then just a bunch. It's basically a to-do list, but it's something that happened. I have my normal to-do list, but this is separate from it. This is a weekly review kind of thing.
And did you make that review? Or did you build that yourself? Did you be right, I'm going to get a pen and a bit of paper, or I'm going to draw it out or write it out?
Yeah, I write it out every single week. But I've watched a lot of YouTube productivity and these kind of videos. So I've kind of taken everything I've learned from that and created my own little thing.
That's great. I want us to be able to put that on here. I don't know.
I'll
send it to us.
send
We'll see if we can
through.
Zoom in on it. And look, we don't have to see your particular one, but we can see how you.
I can send you
the
the template. Yeah, for sure.
Please can have the template.
Yeah.
I might use it myself.
It's really good. I recommend, because then I can kind of see, okay, I only went to the gym 2 times instead of 3 times. I can improve that next week. Or I ate out too many times, or I didn't cook enough, or those kind of things.
Yeah.
I didn't meditate every day, blah blah blah. So yeah, but another thing that's really important for me is my morning routine. And probably in the last year, I just focused on my morning routine and what I wanted to achieve, what I wanted that to look like. So my morning routine now is I wake up and then I make myself some kind of a drink, either a coffee or a matcha, and then I journal and I meditate, and then I go to the gym or I do yoga, depending on what the day is. And then I come back, I shower, have a big protein-filled breakfast, and then I start my day. So I try to do this every single day. That's basically the schedule.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's because it'll take, let's say the whole thing takes 2 hours, but you've done all that stuff before your work day, which is great. So yeah, morning routine.
Morning routine and
important.
Consistency, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you're doing all these things now that are helping you mentally, physically, spiritually, I guess as well, because yoga is spiritual. Mm-hmm. And now you are applying yourself to work.
Yeah. And
when you apply yourself to work, what do you use to give you inspiration, and how do you create your content, and what is that all about?
Yeah. So my content has always been fashion focused, And on all of my platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, it's all fashion. And I think that the reason why I'm also on so many platforms, because I feel like everyone's kind of on them, but like I feel like I did that when I first started, like not even knowing that I was strategically, it was like a really good strategy, right? Like I was just like really strategic, like by accident. So I started my blog, right? And I started my Instagram at the same time. Then I started YouTube a year later. I started TikTok when TikTok became a thing, like in during COVID. And I had started Pinterest back when I started like YouTube. So I kind of like was doing all this stuff like in the background, not knowing if it would ever like pay off. It's like it was just like kind of like a habit that I formed. Like I would post videos, maybe no one would watch them, like whatever. Like it didn't, like it affected me sometimes, but then it was just like I was so used to it that I would continue to do it. And I think when you're in this job, it's so important to diversify and to be on a lot of platforms and like to pour your time and effort into those platforms, even if they're not like showing you immediate results, because to be on one platform is just really risky. I feel if you have like if you're big on Instagram and like that's it, like it's a bit risky. Like you never know what's going to happen with that platform, where it's going to go, and if you don't like kind of diversify, then it's dangerous in my opinion. But yeah, so it was always fashion focused, and then kind of like as I was saying, like last year, I was so focused on it that I kind of like lost my inspiration and my like love for it. And I felt like it was all like a little bit repetitive as well. Just everything we were seeing, everything that I was doing, I felt was repetitive. Everything that was just generally in the space was repetitive. And I wasn't inspired really to create things. So this year I decided, well, actually it was like late last year, I decided to start beauty content, post and repeat beauty, which I'm really happy about. I'm really happy that I made that decision because I needed something new. I needed like something that I hadn't done before, and beauty and like beauty and like makeup and skincare, like it always interested me, but it was never at the forefront. But I'm like, there's a lot of opportunity in this. Like I feel like it's a good business move as well, because it's like the beauty industry is like so huge. Like there's so many like opportunities for collabs and like whatever work and stuff. And I kind of wanted to take what I learned from building post and repeat, the fashion kind of like part of it, and then use that to build a new platform. So it's going well. I'm having fun. I've seen some good growth in the last few weeks as well, which is great.
And also like, I guess when things are not growing, and you're not getting as many likes as you would, or it's not giving you what you want, how do you... I mean, I know Instagram's made that you can switch the likes off, but obviously you still see them, right?
Yeah.
It's just not seen to the general public, right? And how do you then process that? Because it can be like, damn, I've only got X, and really I want more. And it because in this day and age, a like means so much, even it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. But
True.
How do you deal with that? Like, what's your mental mindset when? Because I think this is an important thing that people need to understand. Because a lot of people that are on social media, they're looking to see how many likes they got, how many followers they got, and it can be quite despondent.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting like conversation and topic to talk about, because I think that for a while, when everything was growing and when everything was good, I almost started to like I basically kind of connected it to my self-worth, which is very dangerous. But I think that's what happens in this industry, and what happens like to a lot of people who have social media as their job. Like it just becomes like, you just base your self-worth around it. And if it's not doing well, then you're like, oh my God, this is because I'm not like good enough or whatever. And then if it's doing well, you're like, oh, it's because I'm so good. Like, it's just like a toxic place to be. So, I think I kind of realized that again, like so many realizations last year that I had. So last year I was like, oh, like I realized that I'm putting too much of my self-worth in this, and like it's really out of my control. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm any less of a valuable human being if my engagement is down on my Instagram. It's like when you think about it in that like way, it's just like it's so silly, because it's like this is group of people that you have no idea, like it's just like an audience,
and also it's an algorithm that you have no control over.
You have no control over these things, and you can't like let your value or like your self-worth be based upon those things. So I had to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, it's not growing now, or like it's not doing well, or whatever it may be. Even if it is doing well, I think it's important to take a step back from it and always keep like a distance between you and like the platform or whatever, right? So yeah, I just kind of had to mentally like process that and like remove myself from it a little bit and be like, okay, I still have value. And I kind of like had to do that like self-work of like, okay, what is my value? Like if I don't have post and repeat, like what are my skills and what are my strengths and whatever. And like, it's just like the inner work, which is really important to do. And that's kind of how I now see things, and my mental health is much better. Like the way that I see it is much better because I'm not so attached to like the numbers of it all and like that being attributed to like my value or my worth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it does take time.
Yes, it takes time, and it's yeah.
And now you're in a place where, like you said, you're getting growth on your beauty channel, but so what?
Yeah, exactly.
I
think that's
I'm
the
still
thing.
posting.
Yeah.
And when I was posting and I was getting no movement, I'm still posting.
Yeah. So what? So what is a good way to see it.
So
If it's
what?
doing well, so
And-
what? If it's not doing well, so what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So you're looking after your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You've moved from another country. You've gone through some proper intense shit.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of work around the back of it, and I guess that is a good thing for people to pick up on. Like, look, when things are down and things are not going your way, take time to step back, look at yourself.
Yeah.
You know, try and work on your own well-being, because ultimately I think that when the doors are closed, it's always just you on your own, or not you.
Yes.
Not you generally,
Agreed.
but generally as human beings, we can have people, but we're always in our own mind.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like for me, because I'm an introvert, so I love to spend time alone. I live alone right now. Like I was living before with a friend, but I love to live alone and it's great and I'm really happy, right? But yeah, and I think like you have to really get comfortable. For me, I think it came a bit more naturally, like to spend a lot of time alone and stuff. But yeah, it's important thing to do. Like I like to go and take myself out on like go to dinners by myself, or like go to the movies, or like just do things like that I don't need someone else to like go with me, or like even like solo trips. Like I love to travel on my own. Like it's so fun. And I think yeah, it's a really good like growth experience because you can just kind of like test yourself and like see how much you can take, because you can take anything really. Like it's just mental. It's all mental. So yeah, I think like spending time alone has been really good for me and I love it. It's good to explore.
And now what are your sort of like hopes and aspirations for yourself moving forward? Obviously
It's a big question.
They're all big questions on this place. But like, you know, like you're looking after everything about yourself, and like where do you look further than sort of next month or next year? Or
Next
do you
month.
just,
Yeah,
or
I'm
do
a
you
big
just think
planner.
like, okay.
I'm very much a planner. So I like to do the 2-year plan, the 5-year plan and stuff. But however, like after COVID, I realized like you may make the plan, but it might just go to shit. Like it just might not work, right? So I don't really have like an extensive plan. Like I have like an idea in my mind of like where I want to be in like 3 years, 2 years, like what I want to do next year, what I want to focus on this year. It's kind of like a focus that I want to have like for each year.
So your self-focuses.
Yeah, So this year I want to focus on beauty in terms of work. Let's say in terms of work, I want to focus on my beauty page, still maintain the fashion page because I've built that up to what it is and I'm not going to just like stop doing it. So yeah, focus on that. I've always wanted to like have my own product or my own like something, right? And I think Pose and Repeat could be created into like a really strong brand of like whatever I decided, you know, it would be. But I've not really ever been interested in creating a fashion brand, which is a shame because I was in the fashion space. I'm in the fashion space. But yeah, I don't know. I never wanted to do that. And if it was something in fashion, it would probably be like vintage or thrifted something, right? But it's like, if it's a vintage store, there's no like USP. Like how am I going to be different from what already exists? And it, like my heart's not in it. It's just like not what I'm passionate about. But when I started beauty, like I was just like, oh, this is an opportunity. I could create something in beauty, like either a makeup line or like something. Like I'm not sure exactly, but I think there's an opportunity there that could be interesting to take. So yeah, I think for now, like for this year, I just focus on the growth of like my platforms and kind of learning, you know, because it's a new space that I'm in. So learning about that, making the connections, networking, all of that. And then next couple of years, next probably 2 years, kind of figure out where I want to go in terms of creating brand. And yeah, so that's like kind of like the work aspect. In terms of personal life, I think this year I've already like made a good start in doing my hobbies, like doing things that make me happy and bring joy to my life. I've also started volunteering at the soup kitchen, and I feel like that's great because I've always like I've kind of done volunteering in the past, like when I was in Melbourne, and it's always been so good. It's just like really great to like do something for other people where like they can't help you, like it's just you helping them, and it's like just like service, right? So yeah, I wanted to kind of do that. I was meaning to do that last year, but then I just didn't make time for it. And this year I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I finally kind of like started at the soup kitchen. So I try to do it once a week or like once every 2 weeks. And it's great. I recommend doing that. Just diversifying all the things that you're doing basically. So personal life, kind of like hobbies, volunteering. Giving back, spending time with my friends. I'm traveling a lot less this year than I did last year, as you know. I traveled a lot last year, but this year I'm making different financial decisions, smarter financial decisions. But yeah, that's pretty much kind of what I'm thinking.
And I want to just end on this. So you've gone through this, like, we've just listened to this amazing journey, right? Where we are, and we are here today. Mm-hmm. And is there any advice or anything that you want to let people know that are going into business on their own or going into content creating or who are finding moments of adversity? And is there anything you'd like to say to them? Or is there anything you'd like to say to the younger version of yourself that's about to go on that journey to get to where we are today? Like, it's quite an intense question, but it's sort of like, what would you give your advice? You know, if you had a little sister and she was about to come through, or a little brother and he was about to come through, or
I think for me, like the most important things in life are to kind of like set your values and live life according to those values, right? So like for my younger self, I would probably say I would kind of like push her to take the risks. Like she always did take the risks, and she was courageous. I think be courageous is like a really big one. Have courage, take the risk, and failure is not like the end of the world. Like it's just like everyone fails. Failure is important for success. And yeah, I think I used to like be so afraid of failing. Like I had such a fear of failure that now I'm just like, it's just a part of life, and we fail like at things like every single day, and it just makes you stronger. It makes you better, gives you like more character. But yeah, I think also in summary, because I was long-winded, I would say be brave, take risks, and stay true to yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You're welcome. So fun.
We're all done, babes.
Yay.
That was fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted it to be.